Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk More Wrestling podcast, the podcast where we review more often than not pay-per-views when CM Punk isn't deciding to invade our news space, which thank God, he's quieting down a little bit. My name is Turbo Tony, we're here with Matt Marsander, and we are reviewing the pay-per-view that happened over the weekend, Tables, Ladders, Chairs, and Stairs!
Oh my!
Yeah, as they are. Matt, as we've been talking there just a little bit before, you haven't watched the entire show yet.
No.
No, but you have watched the two best matches on the show.
From what I've heard to be the two best matches,
well, I've watched
one of them I didn't think was particularly great.
Yeah. I've watched the entire show. Hence, it would be really bad if we're going to do a TLC review and none of us have watched the show. No,
and none of us actually watched it. Yeah.
No, I've watched it all. But. Yeah, basically the story of this whole pay-per-view really revolves around NXT Takeover R Evolution, and there was tons of stories that you were showing to me, Matt, about the main roster pretty much having their backs up the fact they were being overperformed by the developmental, and as we've always said, whenever NXT have a special, the pay-per-view afterwards, more often than not, kind of doesn't even have a reason to be, but it just gets better because the main roster are like, well, we can't really let these guys get the better of us.
That's it.
So we were hoping for more of the same, and we did get some of the same, but I think there was a few misses here. But we'll go through match by match, our thoughts, and some of the other segments as well. I'm going to explain to Matt, and obviously if you guys have not seen the pay-per-view, then I'll explain it to you guys there as well. So. The show emanated from Cleveland, so that's the hometown of Miz and Ziggler. So, quite a big thing there. It's the last pay-per-view of 2014. And TLC, Matt, you and me have always been pretty impressed by TLC as a whole. I'd
like to say that TLC's had a good track record.
Yeah. It's been pretty good. So, the show starts off with arguably the best of what the show had to offer. Which is Luke Harper against Dolph Ziggler, which, in my opinion, is an excellent choice to start off a show.
Yeah.
For the IC title, these guys, and it felt to me when these two guys were in there doing their thing. And by the way, Ziggler was obviously received as if he was obviously he is a hometown hero, but received as if he was the biggest thing since sliced bread in Cleveland. He was God in that city.
Oh my God, yeah! Just the fact that he walked in is just like, oh.
But it did seem to me, this match is excellent, by the way, guys, well worth going out to watch. Like I said, it is the best on the show. But it seemed to me as if these two guys were putting their bodies on the line in an effort to prove that they are what the main roster should be looking to, not what NXT. They shouldn't look to NXT, they should look to Ziggler and Harper. It seemed to me that these two guys were like, they were making a statement here, and they were battering each other all ends up the ring. There was blood. Fucking hell.
There was, actually. Sort of like a busted forehead, and like Harper got quite a nasty gash on the arm. And it's like, oh.
I think Harper got staples done, and Ziggler was in the walls as well. These two guys battered each other senseless, and sometimes you think, well, maybe it's a little bit too much, but these guys, you'll find a difference between this and the main event, where I think that this told a really good story, whereas the main event didn't, and that's why this match got a the heads up on the competition. But man, Ziggler here was both of them really. There was some absolutely mental bumps and spots involved in this match, including Harper landing on a ladder that's suspended on the outside, and he just looks like his head just. It looked
like his head hit that pretty hard.
That looked painful. But like I said, these guys, and that was just not the only part. It looked like these guys were like, you know what? I don't care if I've got aches and pains tomorrow. Let's make a statement that NXT isn't what people should be looking at. It should be us as the next thing. Don't overlook us. And Ziggler here. I mean, I actually forgot. We didn't. This must have got through the grapevine, but we didn't put this in our predictions. That's bad by me.
Did we not?
No, I didn't put this in the predictions. I went back and looked. But I'm going to be completely honest here, guys. If we had predicted, I would have said Harper would have won, so I would have got it wrong. So I still count that as me getting
knowing that it was hometown, but I don't know, because it was. I guess as a result of Survivor Series, I can understand the want to give it back to
Yeah, I mean, the guy's obviously on a hot streak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ziggler. And it would undermine him getting such a big victory and then losing the month afterwards would be a bit weird. But he does win, and it was a big win. He is the Intercontinental, the 4-time IC champion. And I don't expect this to be the end of things. But when you've got a match as good as this, sometimes when you've got a match that's as good of a quality as matches is, sometimes it doesn't matter whether you're the loser or not. And this is where the argument of wins and losses don't matter come in, but they do matter.
That's it.
Sometimes.
I mean, it was one of those matches that I see. Like, I found it really odd because it was quite bizarre because like afterwards there was JBL sort of just going on like, and this is it. This is like with the Intercontinental title. Like your career starts from this. I was like, are you hinting that it's like, what are you saying?
Yeah, JBL he had his bullshit hat on.
JBL.
Yeah, he had his bullshit hat on quite a few times, so didn't he, JBL, throughout all of this? He was trying to amp it up for it is, but we know, guys, that the IC title is little more than an accessory. But if they do start having more matches like this, we say this all the time. There's one good match or one good, feud with the IC title, and we get over, we go crazy. We think, it's gonna all get better. It's gonna start meaning more. But no, it's not going to. Just the bottom of it, really. But man, this is worth watching. This match, woo, humdinger to open the show. Good. And like I said, this is one of the matches that you saw. So going forward, I will explain a little bit more what happens in said matches going forward. Usos go against Miz and Mizdow for the tag team championships. We predicted that the Naomi factor would enter into this match, and that wasn't the case. She was seen watching them be involved in the actual match or anything along those lines. And it does seem to me much like the way they did Ambrose and Bray Wyatt. They never really intended to give you a legitimate result in this match. And while the match was okay, and
it was just an opportunity, just like, you want to cheer for Mizdow, don't you? Okay.
There was a lot of that. Which is good. And it's quite funny actually, because Miz is obviously in his hometown. And he's still getting booed by his hometown, so you've got to say something's working there with that team.
Yeah, but he's pretty much turned his back on it because he's now getting billed from Hollywood.
Oh yeah, you're quite right there. So yeah, all that aside, when this match ended, you think to yourself, well, they're obviously going to go for at very least one more match with this feud, considering they've got the Naomi factor. This match wasn't a clean finish. I'll explain to what happened here. Match was okay. Miz just decides, as things are getting a little bit too mental, as it does in Usos matches, that he doesn't want any part of this. He doesn't want any part of this shit. So he grabs his title, tries to run off. The Usos stop him, but then he smacks him in the head with their slammies and gets DQ'd.
Fair enough.
So that's essentially. I thought it is quite funny when Miz decides he's had enough, picks up his titles, and Mizdows behind him with the toy titles. Exactly the same. So yeah, once you hear that, once you see that, that these guys are going for one more match, and that will have a little bit more of a legitimate finish, pinfall, because this was a disqualification. To me, I don't know, people always say, oh, well, you guys predicted wrong because the Usos won. Whenever I predict title matches, I'm like, whoever's going to leave with the belt. So the Usos weren't going to leave with the titles. So, I don't know, maybe I'm being pedantic, but I still count that as a win for us. Because you went for Miz and Mizdow as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Usos didn't leave with the title. Did they really win?
I think we only differentiated on one thing, and I can't even remember what that was.
It was Rowan and Big Show, and you chose Rowan. I went with Big Show.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, this match is just like a taster. They added it in there, but it was okay. It's all right. It's not as if it was shocking, and it's still okay. It was all right. Talking of Rowan against Big Show, that was what was next. The Stairs match. Quite infamous, this kind of matches. They were billing this up as history in the making, the very first Steel Steps match. And I'm like, yeah, because they probably won't do it again. That's, why I believe them. One of the things that I think is so painstaking, and I think that this whole match kind of showed me, is that WWE doesn't really have that much stock in Rowan. Not really. Big Show here. I also got the feeling throughout this match. They were stacking stairs upon stairs. They were, being as creative as they could, using the stairs format. These guys were rattling the stairs off each other.
Yeah.
So, at the very least, they kept with the theme of the show. And I got the feeling that both these guys were trying to keep everything on the line. There was actually a nasty little spot where Big Show's got his back on some steps. Harper's on the top rope with some steps. He's going to basically squish him. And it's supposed to be that Big Show rolls out the way, and he does, but then he gets caught just on the side of one of his ribs, and I'm like, oh man, that's just a recipe for a broken rib right there. That's gotta really fucking hurt. Because you can't stop that once you're in midair with those steps. They are, they're not light. They're gonna gravity will do the work.
There's not a great deal of give right there.
Yeah, so it did catch him a little bit. It was a spear moment where Roman was speared into a set of steps that were stacked up upon each other, on their ends. So pretty much like Skittles, you know what I mean? Like bowling.
All right.
Bowling with Big Red. There's a sitcom for you.
Big Red Bowling.
Big Red Bowling. There'll be a WWE mobile game before too long, Oh, God. Let's not give them ideas. But these guys were trying. They really did. They tried to put it all on the line. They were throwing their bodies all over the place and taking a bit of beating. But the fan base nowadays, in my opinion, they want faster wrestling matches. 20 years ago, it would have been fine to have two behemoth guys trading blows at a very pedestrian rate. But nowadays, people want the likes of Kenta jumping around the ring. They want Bryan, doing quick transition moves. They want Usos flying all across the ring, doing planches and all this crap. They don't want to wait 5 minutes for one guy to hit the other guy. I know that's an exaggeration. And this was faster than the majority of Big Show matches, but it was still pretty damn slow. I know we joke that he's big slow, or the man of 1,000 heel turns, but I just
didn't care.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of these matches.
This was one of those matches where I was like, oh, did I only see two of the two matches? Oh, did I miss Big Show and Oh, I don't care.
I think you'll probably live with that, you know what I mean?
I can take that to the grave. That's
fine. So, like I said, while it wasn't pedestrian, I don't want people to mull on that too much. The match suffered a little bit because these guys aren't able to go at a very electric pace, and especially as WWE want you to go at an electric pace because you don't have that much time in your matches. There's less to fit in there. But I give them props for just throwing their bodies all across the ring. They really did put their body in the line, pretty much like the first match. They weren't willing to take a bit of a beating, especially Eric Rowan, of course. He's trying to make a statement. However, as I said, I'd never believed that WWE had stock in Eric Rowan, and this to me proves it. Big Show beats him clean with a choke slam onto steel steps, then pins him with the help of the steel steps. I would think that choke slamming him onto steel steps would kind of finish the match, but
nope, got to be done.
Apparently he took preventive measures, so whatever. But yeah, I've always said along, and I don't know about you, Matt. I don't know, maybe we think different. You think a bit higher of him. I've just never thought that WWE has much. They put him in, because it filled a slot. But I mean, he got beaten clean by Big Show here, and I don't see them running with a long-term rivalry. Not heading into WrestleMania season, at very least.
No, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I think I don't know. It was maybe just a moment of insanity that made me choose against Big Show. I mean, of the three Wyatts, Rowan has been sort of the weakest.
Yeah, and
I felt.
Yeah, we always said that he's the least likely to get over, out of all of them. But you're saying that, Matt. You're being a bit too harsh on yourself. I could see Rowan winning the match, definitely. I just thought it was more likely of them. I always thought that WWE just didn't. They never really believed in him. They put him there, and it worked to a degree. But especially with the Big Show with his fresh heel turn. But he'll go into the Royal Rumble match, say he's going to win and get chucked out of the rope because apparently he's the most dominant superstar. But
that's it. And bets are that he'll win because how can anyone eliminate the Big Show? Because he's 7 foot tall and 500 pounds. Oh, he's out.
Yeah.
Oh.
The amount of times that we saw the Great Khali come in, and it was just oh man, how is this man be chucked over the top rope? And 5 seconds later, he's chucked over the top rope.
Done.
So much for being the big guy in the Rumble, being a helping hand.
Maybe they should actually go with it and just sort of Big Show's in it, and it's oh no, because he's 500 pounds. Who can get rid of him? And just Like, genuinely, nobody gets rid of him.
Yeah, but then we'd have to see him in a WrestleMania main event, and I've got absolutely no
yeah.
intentions of seeing that. So
Forgot about that bit.
yeah. So yeah, Big Show gets the win. He'll go forward and do his thing. I don't think he's going to go that far. I mean, the guy just teeters between being face and heel so much. It just really me and Matt just stopped giving a shit. I think about the entire thing. But there we are. So here we go. One of the main talking points of the show, of course, was Cena against Seth Rollins in a tables match. You didn't catch this match?
Nope.
It was okay. All right.
I saw the finish. Like, I saw a still shot of the finish.
Oh, so you know what happened, yeah.
Well, they both fell through the table.
Oh, well, that happened in the middle of the match.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'll explain it. So you obviously don't know.
Nope.
The match itself,
well, I do know, because I know that Cena's going to be facing
Brock,
Lesnar at Rumble.
Yeah. You're taking words out of my mouth, but we'll go there. Like I said, the match it was good. It was good. In fact, it was probably the third best match on the show. It was definitely worth watching.
Rollins in it. It can't be a bad match.
I've seen a good account of himself. Listen, like we've slammed Cena a lot, but when he has a decent match, we're the first to give him props for that. You know what I mean? But he did a good account of himself. The only problem is, I think people dislike this match for a few reasons. One, there's a bit of dumb logic in it. First of all, the fact that it's a tables match. So I know you kind of you sold it to me that in a stairs match you could still technically get DQ'd if you attack with something else. Fair enough. But in a tables match you can't DQ in a tables match. You have to put your opponent through a table. That's the only way you can win.
Yeah.
Right. So why does J&J Security wait a good 5 minutes before they decide? You know what? We will get involved. And it's like they're just waiting outside, just kind of bambling around. It's like, it's a fucking no DQ match. Just get in there. It's a bit dumb. And the other thing as well, where, as you say, both wrestlers fell through the tables. So it's like, a controversial finish. The referee rings the bell, right? This is what I thought was a bit stupid. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being a little bit too cynical. I've had 3 weeks of bad Raws, people, so stay with me here. But so he rings the bell, right? But obviously doesn't know who it's for. So 2 referees come in, they plead their cases, they're raising each other's arms, and then the referee, Mike Yoda, decides, you know what? I don't know who won. Let's restart the match. If you didn't know who won, why did you ring the bell in the first place? That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would state. That's just a little bit odd to me, but I can understand why there's a little bit of grey area around that. But still, that's the first thing I could think of is why would you ring the bell if you didn't know who won?
That's it. It's a definitive finish. Ring the bell.
Yeah.
Actually, on second thoughts, I don't know really.
Yeah. But he restarted the match anyway, so the match began again. This seemed like a grand idea for the Big Show to make his second appearance on the show, coming down trying to cost Cena for some reason. So I don't know, because it's just Big Show and he's just there, I guess. So that's the man of 1,000 heel turns. There's no logic behind his heel turns. He just does it. He made a mistake, Matt. Okay, he made a mistake.
Don't judge him.
Don't judge him.
He did it for his family.
He did it for the people. He did it for The Rock.
Yeah.
If anyone knows what that's a reference to, I'll give you a high five for that. So, yeah, with all this, you're thinking, he's going to get cost. Obviously, I didn't know that. I knew that. I knew that he wasn't going to get cost a match because Vince really wants to have Cena Lesnar 4, so he's going to have it. So this is what happens here. So Big Show, he's taking care of business with John Cena, and just as he's about to get ready to cost him the match, Roman Reigns makes his return. The fans pop for him big time. I mean, big time. So, as much as he's getting a little bit of flack from people nowadays, people are still into the guy, and so they should be. You pop big here. I mean, when he speared Big Show, I
didn't see this bit.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I saw he had an interview backstage, and I thought he was just being backstage, but I didn't realise that he'd actually.
No, he was actually involved in the match. Technically, he could say he cost Rollins the match, but he speared Big Show into a table, and you can tell the guy is just ready and roaring to get back because damn near he threw himself into Big Show. It was less a spear and more of a human missile being thrown into the guy. So he's happy to be back, and fair play to the guy. He's had to sit by and watch, the potential rise of his career be stalled for about 3 months, and that must be incredibly frustrating. I mean, if you got to think, if he was around, he probably would have been a part of that Survivor Series match,
Yeah.
and that was a big match to be a part of, but still. So then he hits Rollins with the Superman punch. This leads him to get picked up by Cena and put through a table, which ends the match. Cena gets the victory. The reason why I think some people will dislike this match are 2 reasons. 3 reasons. One is the like I said, the little bit of dumbness, a few things, but people can get over that. I certainly did. I wasn't that bothered by it. But this has a slight case of Super Cena syndrome. Where he's fighting 3 men and the commentary is selling it as, it's a 3-on-1 match, why don't you just put Cena through the table and be done with it, as if he's never beaten multiple people at once before. How many times have we seen him rise against the odds and beat it? In fact, when you got odds stacked against John Cena, it's like not really the odds are stacked against, he's more likely to win. So
the moment it becomes a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a little bit of that where he's fighting 3 guys off, So I can understand why some people dislike it, but technically 2 of them are Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. They're not exactly, fighters, or anything along those lines. But I thought, personally, in the whole Reigns factor, some people get pissy about, but I thought the Reigns factor, the fact that he technically cost Rollins the match, it makes it a sort of an unclean victory for Cena, and most importantly, that softens the damage of the loss to Rollins. So Rollins can come out on Raw. You could say, I would have beat Cena if it wasn't for Roman Reigns. This gives him a platform for going forward, and that way he can blame the loss on something. This is where wins and losses, to me, don't matter. If you've got a loss that takes you somewhere, then that's okay. Right? Some would say, well, Ambrose had the same thing. That's different because we'll get to that, because I feel like neither guy is getting anywhere with it. But that I think that's okay with Rollins. I really do. I honestly don't have an issue with him losing. And, this will be the first time that we may have said that we don't mind someone losing to Cena. But I honestly don't here.
Fair enough.
Because, maybe I've already gotten over the fact we're going to get Cena Lesnar. Some people may be getting pissed. Oh, now we're getting it. But I knew it was happening. It was always going to happen, guys. If you didn't think it was going to happen, go and listen to Vince McMahon's podcast, and you can see there's everything you need to know about what's going to happen. It was in that podcast.
Cena sucks my dick. Cena gets everything.
Yeah.
Cena.
Yeah. According to Vince, Cena must be decked out, blinged with brass rings. But
that's it.
Still. So here it brings up. We will talk about it. We are going to get Cena Lesnar 4. If you do the 4 matches that Lesnar and Cena now have had, and this is just from Lesnar returning, right? Technically, they've had 5 matches against each other, but that one happened years ago, right? So you got Extreme Rules. You've got the 3 that we've had pretty much back to back with Lesnar here. So that's 4. Then you count the 3 matches that the guy had with Triple H. That's 7. That means 7 matches since Brock Lesnar have been back have been against 2 people. There's something a little bit wrong with that to me. I think he should be facing a much wider variety of people. Surely. Is that me, or are you on the same sort of thought?
No. I completely agree with it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he may have faced Big Show. Who else did he fight apart from Big Show?
Mark Henry?
No, he never fought Mark Henry. Not really. He F5'd him, but I mean, actually had a match.
I couldn't remember whether he actually faced him as a result of that.
No, he never wrestled him. He just beat him up.
Oh.
He wrestled Taker, so you got Taker, Big Show, and then you got those 2 guys. So that to me, an over 2 year span? Punk, yeah, and Punk as well, so yeah. But what I mean is that, you think of that, right? So they all had one match, and, arguably, the one with Punk was excellent, the one with Undertaker will always be remembered, the Big Show one kind of sucked. But then you've got 7 matches of real nothing, really, apart from maybe the very first one that he had with Cena, but he just came back. Anything is going to be marquee. To me, I think that's a bit of a waste. 7 matches between 2 people. That can't be right.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. He must be sick of seeing Cena and Triple H at this point. But anyway, backstage promo with the Bellas. This was officially to pretty much answer that Brie is officially now back with her sister. Buddy, they're hugging each other. Brie said it's all water under the bridge. So all that stuff about wanting Brie dead in the womb, that's just okay. Jesus.
That's it. It's all fine.
I hate to know what actually flies under the bridge. Well, Jesus Christ, they might have everything there.
What actually stays above the bridge?
Yeah, fucking hell.
I know.
But yeah, they're back with each other now. It either, to me, makes me think that they realised the entire feud sucked, which is what we said for weeks, right?
Yeah, it's like, nobody seems to care.
Yeah, or they just didn't care to finish it themselves. So which one do you think it is?
I think they've realised it sucked.
Okay, so fair enough.
But probably as a result of nobody cares.
Yeah.
Maybe we should actually give this up.
Yeah. I mean, it looks really bad on Brie. She got treated like shit, and she's like, everything's fine. Everything's okay.
Yeah. You were treated like the bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. My sister.
Well, we know who wears the breasts in that relationship.
Woohoo.
Yeah. That was a breast job joke there, people. Come on, you kind of expect that. 2 big reasons why Eva Marie isn't around, and you saw that on the Total Divas advert, didn't you? Told ya. There we are. So then we had the match. Nikki Bella against AJ Lee. This was a boring match. And you know what? It was fucking sloppy. I'm just going to say outright. Regardless whether it's Nikki Bella or AJ Lee's fault, this match was sloppy. It was all over the place. Some of the matches didn't look like they landed properly. It looked like some people, there was like a neck breaker spot where Nikki fell about a second before AJ did. It just looked bad. There was like a sit-down bulldog spot that just looked like it just didn't hit properly. And there's one thing that we praise AJ Lee to the hills here, right? We love AJ Lee on this show. One thing that I dislike about her is that when she bumps, it just doesn't feel like it's got any impact to it. I just don't know, it's just a part of her wrestling style I just dislike. And there was a lot of that here, unfortunately to me. So, Brie gets involved, saving Nikki in the match, and this leads the referee to eject her, do the "you're out of here" sort of thing, which we haven't seen.
Everyone goes, "Yay! The bitch is gone!
That's
Yay!"
It. And as they're doing the match, "Yay!" Then Nikki decides to spray unknown liquid into AJ Lee's face, otherwise known as Vince McMahon's tears when CM Punk left the company, but we won't go there. Yeah. And then she uses the rack attack and gets the victory. The one thing I could think of, I don't know, it must be really bad that this is the first thing I think of was, it wasn't a roll-up pin. I'm going to take this as a victory. It was a legitimate victory. It was
now,
a pinfall.
I must ask you, because obviously I haven't seen every match.
Yep.
Was there a roll-up pin?
No, there wasn't. I can't. No, there wasn't on this show. Fair play. But in a Divas match, you're especially ready to see a roll-up pin.
Yeah.
Now, there was a rack attack here, and then there was a pinfall. That's fine. And as I said before, I think this wraps up the Nikki Bella AJ storyline, and I don't think you're going to see her around that much. I really don't.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I think AJ is going to be moving on to leaving the company and being with her husband. I firmly believe that will happen, but maybe she'll stick around for a couple of months. Maybe until Mania, maybe, go forward there, see what happens. I just don't... Let's just say this. This time next year, I firmly believe AJ won't be with the WWE. I think she'll be gone.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. So, this led to the Roman Reigns interview that you were talking about there, Matt. And, I'll admit, the one that he had at NXT was very wooden. It was very... This is what I'm going to do. The one thing I could say, and a lot of people slam his promo ability, I don't think he's nearly as bad as what a lot of people are making out. He's not great, right? But he's not horrible. Yeah?
No.
He's a lot better than what a lot of people make out to. But the fact is, I give him a pass on some of his promos. Like, he skipped his words a little bit here, but I thought the promo was okay, honestly. But he's improving. He's getting better. And as long as he's getting better, I'm
then it's
fine.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I'm fine with taking a couple of months of this guy not blowing me away with promos, as long as he's improving. And if this guy's going to be the next overall package, and the promos are the only bit that's lacking in that overall package, some may say is in-ring work, but I think that's, considering how far Cena got with a very limited moveset and ability in the ring, Roman Reigns is definitely fine in that category. The the promos is what's lacking. I just think that he is improving. There is improvement. So as long as that keeps happening, I'm fine with him making a few mistakes here and there. I really am. But some people just get behind the guy. Some people slam the guy to dislike him because he obviously is going to be the next star of the company. There's no reason to dislike him because of that. Stone Cold was the star of the company. Do you think people hated him back then for being the star of the company? No.
That's it. The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock. All that time. Don't just give him a chance, right? Don't hate him before he's there. See what he can do. He's a lot better than people think. I promise you that. So here we go. So I should have said it before. The Nikki Bella AJ match started a trend of shit throughout this show, and it was a big, almost like 45 minutes worth of just real stuff that you just want to skip, and I really wanted to skip. I just wanted to get through it and just watch, the parts I was interested in. But for the sake of the podcast, I watched it all. Matt, you managed to get away with it because I told you I watched it all, and you knew it. You knew you could get away with it. You knew you could skip this garbage.
I think I found it difficult to find the time, but I think also with a lot of it I was just like, but NXT was so good.
Can I just watch that again, please? Yeah. I have watched NXT Takeover twice already.
Have you?
Oh, it's just so good. So the next match in this period of just where the show just tanked for me, and I have to admit, while I was watching this, and I did watch it all, my mind started wavering. I started doing some other work on the side. I was watching it, but really my attention span had just gone. I wasn't that interested. Because the next match was Kane versus Ryback. Why should I care? That's what went through my head. A chairs match. And the match itself, they were whacking each other with chairs, fair enough. I just didn't think it was anything particularly special. I thought it was pretty tame.
I saw one thing I was just like, this is like a chairs match. Like, it's one thing I don't quite like with TLC. Is like, this is a chairs match. It's like, I remember a time where, like, you got hit with a chair, you were done.
Yeah, that was it. That's what made Mick Foley getting smashed around with a chair by The Rock, in front of his family, which I think is horrific. But that's what made that so horrifying. It was like, my God, this guy's getting killed. Now everyone gets whacked around with a chair, and it's like, yeah, it's fine, no problem at all. But then again, we're going back to a time where Hulk Hogan could leg drop someone, and they would sell it as if they got shot. So
yeah, that's true.
And now Fandango's jumping leg drop sometimes won't finish his opponents, but there we are. But yeah, man, you don't want to see this match. Ryback gets the victory with the shell shock, but really, it's not that interesting, guys. Why would you want to care about Kane versus Ryback? And you know what? One thing was really annoying for me is that they had done such a good job of making Ryback seem like something, and when he came down to this ring, people like me, they didn't give a shit. Why would they want to? It's him against Kane.
Bullshit match.
Yeah. All that great work they did leading into that Survivor Series match, they kind of kept that way on the back burner heading into this one. I mean, Ryback's gone back to being irrelevant again, which is really a shame. Hopefully they give him something, Do you remember that great Raw where suddenly it felt like this guy was the biggest, hottest commodity on planet Earth? And they booked it like that?
Exactly. A couple of weeks leading up to Survivor Series. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Suddenly Ryback was the man. Where he was going was what was going on, and then at the Survivor Series match, he was essentially just dealt with easily. But oh well, flavour of the month. Let's hope he's not flavour of the month, but it certainly looks that way so far. So we go back to Rusev versus Swagger, United States Championship match. The length of this match and the competitiveness of the match dictates exactly how much WWE cared for it in the first place. It was boring. It was unnecessary. It sucked. There was no point watching it. I mean, come on, Matt. If this came on, right, Rusev against Swagger, I would like to know how many people, even if you don't follow wrestling as much as I do, let's say you're watching it and your family's there, Matt, right? And you say,
yeah,
Rusev is unbeaten. He's already beaten this guy, and this guy loses all the time. Who do you think is going to win? What would your family say?
No, well,
they'll say
Rusev.
Rusev, of course. If they know who's going to win, then we definitely know who's going to win this match, because of course Swagger was going to win. It was boring, and it confirms everything that we've said over the last couple of weeks, that they haven't got any plans for Rusev. May have got an end plan, but they must have had, when they were thinking of Rusev's build, build up to wherever he's going and who's going to take the victory off him, which will be a big moment. There's obviously a moment here where they've been booking possibly month to month, and then they came to this month and they're like, oh, what do we do?
That's it. It's like, I've got my beginning, I've got my end. What's going in the middle? I don't know.
Yeah, let's just throw in whatever we can. Oh, we've got no one else free. Let's just give, Swagger's not doing anything. Oh, he's already fought Swagger. It'll be okay. He'll be all right.
Yeah, who cares?
Just garbage.
Our fans are idiots. They won't remember.
how I feel we get treated sometimes, honestly. So this leads to the final match, the main event. One of which I was glad this was the main event, because you want Ambrose and the likes of Wyatt to have these slots, at these shows. And definitely, as I said before, I felt as if the first match was a bit of an insult because it was an advertisement for this match. That's all it was, right? Their match at the last pay-per-view Survivor Series.
All right, yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I at the last one I said it was quite frustrating that one of the matches I was excited to see was an advertisement. Yeah, it was an ad. That's all it was. And this one is awkward to talk about, right? I feel that we could say about this, and people could possibly rightly say, well, you're never going to be happy. Whereas I'd state on the show, considering what we saw in NXT, we are happy when we get what we want. We got what we want at the start of the show. And this match by no means is bad.
The thing is, we got what we want with this match.
Yeah, but this is why it's tough to explain, because...
I know.
Right. Plenty of high spots. These guys obviously went all out. There was plenty of moments where people were crashing through tables. There was chairs galore. Huge ladders involved. In terms of spots, this match was fine. Okay? It was okay. I just still found it really hard to get genuinely enthusiastic about this match. I found it hard for me really to care who won and lost. There was moments in this match where Dean Ambrose is straight up elbow dropping off the top of a ladder Bray Wyatt through multiple tables to seemingly little effect to either man. That I have an issue with. It's like, it's not the amount of times that you do something, it's the story behind what you're doing that really gets over. The reason why Ambrose and Rollins and that whole rivalry was such a big hit and one of the best rivalries of this year by far is because of the story that was behind it. It was the betrayal. But still to this day, do we really have a reason why Wyatt wants to attack Ambrose? I don't see any.
No.
Why would he pick at Ambrose then and there and now? It just makes no sense. According to Wyatt, all he wanted to do was to together they could rule the world. That to me, that's a bit of a shit excuse. Wyatt's gonna have to start getting a little bit more. I don't mind the cryptic nature of what he's doing, and it's not down to Ambrose to come up with the reason for this feud because he was the one attacked. If you're looking at this from a storyline point of view, okay, it's Wyatt who's the reason that this feud exists. He's the one who chose to attack Ambrose. He's the one who needs to explain why that happened better than what's happened. Was he jealous of him? Does he feel like destroying Ambrose will get him to the next stage? Does he not just I wanted him to join me so I attacked him?
That's it.
Didn't you just set free two people? I just found it really I don't know about you, Matt, and I feel like I shouldn't rag on this match. I really think I shouldn't, because it's not a bad match. I just didn't care who won. And I want to care. It's Ambrose against Wyatt. I want to care. I really want to be really enthusiastic about who gets the victory in this match. But I just didn't care.
Yeah. That's exactly it for me, because I was just watching it and I'm just like, I'm enjoying this, kind of.
You appreciate what they're doing.
Like my mind's just like, you should be loving this, and my heart's just like, I'm not loving this.
Yeah. Is that awkward thing? It's like...
Yeah.
There wasn't much feeling in it, to me. It's just these guys going out there doing spots. And it would be fine if I really cared. Oh, wow, and all this lot. But, I mean, they did the same spot 3 times, the elbow drop through the table. And you think, okay, that's going to be
from varying heights and varying tables.
Yeah, yeah. Now, one other issue of this match, which I think this match didn't tell a story. First off, it didn't. Okay, it was just a match, and I think that every match should strive, especially a main event, should strive to tell at least a story. At very least, in the Cena Rollins match, that had some story elements involved in that match, right? And at least they had a stipulation. While it was so predictable, but I felt a little bit more enthused in that match at very least. I don't know why, right? But in this match, Ambrose dominated Bray Wyatt again, right? And I mean, dominated him. It looks as if Wyatt got little to no offense in this entire match. So since Wyatt's come back, this is exactly what he's done. He's attacked Ambrose, got his head kicked in at Survivor Series, where it ended in DQ because Ambrose just kicked the crap out of him. Maybe Wyatt crashed his throats, but Ambrose was still there doing the running down the ramp as if nothing was wrong on Raw, so obviously he wasn't that badly hurt. And here he gets destroyed and only wins because a TV blew up in Ambrose's face. Bray, for all intents and purposes, was beaten. He was selling it as if he was dead, and rightly so, because he got elbow dropped.
It was the end of him.
Yeah, like if you get elbow dropped through 2 tables, sorry, to me that means you're done, right? It doesn't matter. Right? Even if a TV blows up in your face, an elbow drop through 3 tables, to me, that's too excessive for someone to come back from. And I know we've seen Cena do the same thing, and we've blasted Cena for doing that, so we have to blast Bray Wyatt for doing that as well.
That's it.
We have to stand by our guns. Sorry, if that happens, then that needs to finish the match.
We can't not blast Wyatt simply because we like him.
Yeah. We have to call it like we see it, And that's why I to a point, I liked this match, and I appreciated that these guys were trying to put on a show. But there was nothing to it. I don't... And, so that obviously means Bray Wyatt gets the victory. I did call that right. But really, was it a victory? This is my final point of this match. With Wyatt winning the way he did, which is essentially Ambrose losing by his own accident, Wyatt did very little to win the match, right? In fact, he got destroyed, arguably, throughout this match. Does it do anything for Wyatt? Does he look like... I wanted him to win this categorically and clean. To stand up on that ladder, sit up on that ladder in the end of the show. Ambrose is destroyed below him, and this is a statement. This is what happens when you mess with Bray Wyatt, right? Because obviously this isn't the end of their rivalry.
To just set across the message to get it all done.
Yeah. Because technically, Ambrose got the better of him at the previous event. Has always got the better of him. Arguably so throughout the whole build-up. This just caps off a horrible year for Bray Wyatt. I know he gets a victory at the end of the year. Man, they could have done so much with him, 2014 Bray Wyatt. Yeah. The whole Cena stuff, him becoming a jobber, essentially, to people. That whole squash match that he had with Cena, which was insulting to his character. This rivalry, which should be something, but unfortunately is nothing. Ambrose has had a good year. Wyatt hasn't. Wyatt's had a bad year, in my opinion. And I don't think it got any better when he had his reboot. Would you say anything really has been gained from him having his reboot? Do you really think they've really pushed this guy to high heaven? Because I don't.
No, I think a clean win would have saved it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you could have made it so it was a proper battle. Like I said, I still find it hard to get enthusiastic about the match. But you could have had it so it was a battle, and Ambrose, there comes a point where he knows he's lost, but he's still fighting. He's got that fighting spirit. I mean, you did that same stuff against Rollins, so you could do that. Yeah. And then later on, if you really want Ambrose to have the final win, then they can have another match at the Royal Rumble, or to give Ambrose the last laugh. But you've got to give something to Wyatt here. A victory like this, when wins and losses do matter, but a win like this doesn't. No one's going to think any better of Wyatt for getting a victory when Ambrose made a mistake because a TV blew up in his face.
It's like, he sniped the cable and the TV blew up.
Yeah. It was a really bad finish. I'm just going to say that outright. It was really bad. It could have been done so much better. And what's weird about this whole rivalry is that, like I said to you, Matt, I want to love this. I'm ready to like it. I'm bracing myself to like it. There's
no reason why I shouldn't.
Yeah. All the factors are in. You've got Bray Wyatt. We love Bray Wyatt. Dean Ambrose. We love Dean Ambrose. TLC matches can be amazing. I can't. For some reason, it didn't work. That's down to me. And like I said, it's our opinion. If you enjoyed it, fantastic, great. I hope you did. But here, I guess me and Matt are in unison in agreeing that.
Oh, the crowd were dead for it as well.
Yeah. Like I said, it's
Like, there was another really disappointing part. I was just like, there's like occasionally there was like a let's go, Ambrose, like a really faint one in the distance.
Yeah.
And then any opportunity to shout holy shit. But I swear at one point someone was actually just shouting it for the sake of it, just to be louder than everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, rather than a sort of like a holy shit, they were like, holy shit! Yeah. Just sort of like, no, you're definitely, I can hear you.
Yeah. And
like,
it's not
TV
as if
can hear you.
It's not as if the crowd were unable to get any height of interactivity with the matches, because with the Ziggler Harper match, they were incredibly vocal. They really were
on it. Yeah,
they were all over that match. And this match, for some reason, maybe myself and Matt, we just couldn't get into it. And it's so mind-boggling because we should.
There is, however,
go on.
Lesnar fan was there.
Oh yeah, I saw him in the front row. Yeah, Lesnar. Come on, it's coming around to Lesnar being back. Lesnar fan will always be there.
There's one guy I kind of hate though.
Go on.
Like there's the spot with Ambrose jumping off the ladder and sticking Wyatt through the announce table.
Yeah.
There was a guy with a sign. What a dick.
What sign?
27 pay-per-views in a row. You're a dick.
So with that revelation, what do we think about the entire pay-per-view? Now, Matt, obviously, he's only watched 2 matches, so he can only state his views on that. I thought it was a good pay-per-view. I thought these guys went out there with the intention of trying to answer NXT's phenomenal showing. Did they do that? No. On almost every front, NXT was better. Almost every front. The women's match was better. The main event, sorry guys, if you're Bray Wyatt and Eddie and Ambrose fans, the main event of NXT Takeover was better. Far better. Because it really did mean something. I think the opening match, I still give to Ziggler and Harper. So that's why I say almost every front.
Yeah.
But like in terms of impact as well, in terms of like memorable moments, man, NXT's just got it down. I will remember Finn Balor's entrance, Sami Zayn winning the title. I remember,
especially considering that was NXT's Daniel Bryan WrestleMania moment.
Yeah. I remember Kevin Owens power bombing Sami Zayn into the thing. I remember that a lot longer than I remember this match between Ambrose and Wyatt, or like much of the show. To be honest, a lot of it's forgettable. And I've heard news, and like I said, you shared this with me, Matt, that apparently the feeling backstage and the morale from reports. So take this with a pinch of salt. That after the show, apparently the wrestlers themselves weren't happy with it, possibly because of the fact that whoever's doing creative in NXT, they need to get bumped up. They need to get promoted to the main roster now.
Yeah.
And even if they do, the 3-hour format kills the show. And you think 3 hours each week should be enough to get all of these rivalries over, but they didn't. And that is a fault with the creative team. What's the point of having an army of guys writing creative for all these wrestlers if none of them can get it right? You know?
That's it.
There we are.
If one guy could smash through 3 hours, then you'd be okay. But to have, we've got 30 writers.
Yeah.
What, so they're doing like 10 minutes each?
Yeah, it's just bollocks, it really is. And the need to want to plan out every word of every segment stifles the creativity of the show. And that's not...
I recently heard a podcast, Jericho with Ambrose, and it's like, I'd rather a world where I never saw a script.
Yeah. Come on.
I was like, so true.
I'll tell you what, like we said this before, that if you give a guy who really feels like he wants to, and he doesn't have to be great on the mic, but he feels like he's got a message to say, and he goes up to management and say, look, let me do a promo. Nowadays, I imagine they say, no, here's your script, learn that. Whereas I think back maybe in the Attitude Era, they think, okay, you really want to say your piece, as long as it's not derogatory towards the company, go out there and make an impact. And they go out there with their promo, and for better or for worse,
they make
an impact.
Just like, give me the gist of it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
However, now it's, as Vince McMahon says, things have changed since you left Austin, and unfortunately, things have got worse. But there we are.
Yeah.
But should you buy this pay-per-view?
Even though Vince was happy to let Jericho call Stephanie a whore.
Oh well.
And that was recent.
I know, right?
She's a precious flower. Her flower's been gone a long time ago.
Oh, but Jericho has a pass. I mean, he was making Steph jokes before anyone else, so there is that. Yeah. But like I said, Matt, we'll go back to the point. Should you buy this pay-per-view? I still think it is worth I still think it's worth a purchase, but
what, for one match?
I think while we're hitting the show really hard, like, it's a decent quality pay-per-view. We've definitely had worse throughout the year.
I think the worst part is the fact that we're seeing that it's jaded now.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Because it's just like, it's TLC. We probably would have sort of gone at it with quite a lot of excitement and joy if we hadn't just witnessed 2 hours of gold.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the brilliance of NXT does take off some of the work that these guys did. And so that's not an issue with NXT. They're well within their right to go and give us the best they can possibly do. That's their job. But it's the fact that
it's the main roster's job too.
Yeah. Like, I think obviously it won't happen. Guys, let's be realistic here. Vince is going to take no lessons learnt from NXT onto the main show. He's going to keep it exactly how it is because he thinks it's fine, right? But there's a lot of lessons to be learnt from NXT. First of all, that a 1 hour show is so much more easily digestible than 3. That in-ring competition can be better than promos, right?
Yeah.
And 3, freshness in terms of the faces involved in certain situations can be good. More often than not, it is good. But there we are. I think. But anyway, we're getting behind it. So you say no, right? That they shouldn't buy it. I say you should probably look at it. I think it's much better than some people make out for. But as you say, because it's an NXT shadow, right, in this event. Would you agree with that? And that's why.
That's it, exactly.
But if you've got the network, you already saw NXT. And trust me, if you've got... The ultimate question is, maybe, to ask us, what should I watch? I've got, 2 hours. I could watch 2 hours of TLC, or I could watch 2 hours of NXT. It's going to be NXT. Hands down. There is no competition. It's far better. So.
Hell, I have 3 hours. I could watch all of TLC, or I could watch 2 hours of NXT Takeover R Evolution. I'd watch R Evolution, and then I'd watch the next episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Or the episode of NXT before it.
Yeah, just to get amped up.
I'd much rather do it. I'd much rather watch 3 hours of NXT.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our review for it, guys. Don't be too jaded. There is stuff to be seen here that is okay. But if you've watched NXT, trust me, you'll look at this and be like, you just won't get enthused for it because you've seen better. So there we are. If you guys did enjoy this review, this Let's Talk More Wrestling, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back at the weekend to review Raw and give our thoughts on where things will be going forward to Royal Rumble. And hopefully CM Punk doesn't drop another news bombshell, and we'll be able to deal with all of his shenanigans going forward.
I did hear somewhere that he may not be getting a license to compete.
Oh, don't even start that, man. Don't even start that. So, yeah, I was going to say happy holidays, but we will be closer to Christmas when we do the episode at the weekend. So we'll give you all a holiday cheer then. But if you didn't, if you did enjoy and you are new, subscribe to the channel. If you are one of our awesome long-term listeners, then if you could please continue to support the channel, sharing it all over social media, which I know you guys have done. That would be great. We are so appreciative, and we will be answering questions from the previous podcast, as we always do. If you want any questions on this weekend's podcast that we're doing, then feel free to leave it here, or obviously on the previous episode. Or you can send it on our Twitter handle, which is @TalkWrestlePod, and I have noticed a few new followers on there as I've been going on. Matt handles it, and you can ask him any questions and get all the funny wrestling pictures and stuff like that. But that is us for this episode, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and we will see you guys on the weekend.
Okay, soon.
Bye bye.